The 2015 Agricultural Leadership Exchange trip took 20 members of the Michigan Farm Bureau and the Indiana Farm Bureau on a 10-day tour of Germany and Belgium to visit agricultural operations, learn about the European Union, trade with the United States, and do some sightseeing. Traveling just north of Berlin, the group visited Lübers, established in 1247. The small agricultural village is one of the last remaining villages of its kind. The land occupied by Lübers is under strict government regulations in an effort to conserve the village's unique rural characteristics. 7 families farm 250 hectares, or 625 acres of hay, oats, and rye, used to feed the village's 315 equine residents.
Today we visited a horse farm outside of the city of Berlin. It was very familiar to what we would see in Michigan, like in Detroit area, like Oxford, Lapeer, Oakland County, where people from the city come out and ride horses, jump horses, that type of stuff. There's competition riding. It's a working village that has held its history and it's kind of stood the test of time, and yet they've incorporated how to make money and how to survive in this type of situation. Wonderful place to visit, obviously, and I'm sure you could see how this would be a wonderful place to live, yes.
Moving south of Berlin to the village of Schebendorf, the group visited a dairy farm populated with all Jersey cows in the former East Germany.
This farm used to be a cooperative farm through the communism time. It used to be owned by 320 shareholders or farmers, cooperative farmers at that time, and right now there are only 32 left. We farm right around 450 hectares of land, which is 200 hectares of pasture, 250 hectares of arable soil, and we keep right around 800 Jersey cattle, which is 400 cows and 400 offsprings.
The operation has started incorporating U.S. genetics and, to combat low milk prices, is considering switching to organic production. Germany leads the world in wind energy production and has helped finance over 10,000 biogas facilities in the country. The group visited 4 dairy operations with biogas producing digesters, using manure and silage to generate energy in the form of heat and electricity for the farm, and in some cases local homes and businesses. Farm operators explained it was profitable to install the equipment, heavily subsidized by the government, because inputs were readily available and they were guaranteed 20-year fixed-rate price for energy supplied to the grid.
Comment was made by this last one that we're at right now that if I hadn't started it when I did, if I was to start it today, I don't know if I would go there. He also made the comment that dairy production right now is not profitable, but he's got to stick with it for at least the next 20 years because that's what it's going to take to pay off on this plant here. The second concern, and we heard it from a gentleman this morning, is the holler that we're using product for food that's going for fuel. Now, the other flip side of the coin is we need the energy for electricity, for fuel also. So where do they share? What they're using here and in the 2 operations today was not taking the protein out and using it for food side. They're using the whole product.
Taking energy independence to the next level, the Saarbeck Bioenergy Park is a 225-acre facility with 7 wind turbines, 24,000 solar modules, and 2 biogas converters that provide electricity and heat to the city's 7,000 homes.
We have 2 biogas plants. We have one biologic waste fermentation plant and one agricultural biogas plant. The waste fermentation plant uses biologic waste from the 24 towns and communities around Saarbeck. And then we have the agricultural biogas plant that uses corn and slurry as input materials. Both of these plants have a capacity of 1 megawatt, and in the whole bioenergy park we have 29 megawatts of electric capacity installed. And this is enough to produce over 250% of the electricity that we need in Saarbrück.
This coal mine and the related power plants that go with it produce about 25% of the power here in Germany. Interesting process. They go through and take all the topsoil off and conveyor it to the other side to stockpile and go down approximately 400 meters to get to the coal, and then do another 50 meters of extracting the coal, and then they lay the soil back in piece by piece, as we can see here at this site, and when they're finished, that soil is as productive as it was before they started. In the process, they do have to move villages, so they'll move entire villages out of the mine site and reconstruct those in other areas so the residents have a place to live.
30 years ago, the 1,000-hectare farm operation of the Hubert family was a coal mining operation. The soil was replaced, and the family now raises sugar beets, potatoes, corn, green beans, wheat, barley, and Christmas trees. Productivity of the soil was built up by manure from their market hog operation, now a storage facility. The Arkenberg farm near Hanover is a 650-acre dairy farm, milking 125 dairy cows with dual robotic milkers. Ina and Fred Arkenberg are taking over the operation from his parents.
We have a certain rule, or even law, it's a law, to not split up the farms and keep them together as a functioning unit and at a certain size. We do not sell the farms from generation to generation, but forward them. You sort of sign a contract with your parents saying that they hand the farm to you for free, saying that you support your parents when they retire. Means they have free living on the farm until they die. You feed them, you take care of them when they're old, and you also negotiate a certain retirement payment. There's also something like your social security system that they get for retirement, but it's only part of it. The major part is the retirement payment that you negotiate with your parents. And then they hand the farm to you, and we have a lot of tax favors for farmers if you hand it down to the next generation. So if you do it all right to the certain laws, you might be able to forward a farm without any tax payments.
The group enjoyed lunch at the Hofruhr Cafe in Kremlingen.
240, please.
The direct marketing operation owned by Martina and Hans-Jürgen Ruhr caters events and operates a farm shop featuring homemade sausages, jams, and baked goods. The 10th generation farm also farms 200 hectares of crops, including non-GMO sugar beets.
I liked how this is a historic farm and how they've utilized that in changing from a grain farm into a direct marketing, not changed, but evolved into a direct marketing, starting out with the apples and the eggs, and now it's a bakery, where guests can come and get all kinds of products that are made on this farm.
The group visited 2 large research stations doing research on all aspects of agriculture, including biodigesters, swine, and dairy.
Yeah, here on the farm we do a lot of research about feeding the cows, the dairy cows. Mostly we do the experiments with high lactating dairy cows in the first 2 thirds of the lactation. Research we do here on the farm is mainly for the farmers in North Rhine-Westphalia. The experiments we do here on the farm should provide information to them to improve their work on the farms.
On day 8, the group headed to Belgium and was briefed at the European Union on the role of the European Commission, TTIP, and CAP, the Common Agricultural Policy, or their version of the Farm Bill. Ongoing negotiations of TTIP, or the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, are slow going, in part because of the perceived and real differences in agricultural practices.
We have Europe and United States of America have the biggest trade relationship in the world today. So with TTIP we want to do it more and we want to do it better. I think it's like every fear. It's based a lot on stereotypes that we have about Americans or American farmers. or American products, and it's especially linked with a very strong, I guess, lobby of Americans about the genetically modified organism, about hormone-treated beef, and things that, I mean, hormone-treated beef is illegal in Europe, for instance, so, you know, this is something where we cannot compromise on. So I think Europeans see this, mainly these big differences that we have between Europe and America, and we forget about, I think, the kind of silent majority of products that we trade every single day with each other, and we consume each other products very safely. So I think, to put it simply, the reason is that we focus on things that differ us the most, and forget about majority of things that we have in common. So we have to make it work in a different way and put focus on the different things.
In between biodigesters,
stick your head in there, buddy,
brawny cattle, and sugar beet fields, lots of sugar beet fields, the group had a chance to enjoy some European culture. They enjoyed sightseeing and helping with the groundskeeping at the Sanssouci Palace outside of Berlin, getting a look at the local pageantry at the Castle Pfaffendorf near Cologne, making some music and inspecting the bees at an open-air museum near Munster, and touring the historic and beautiful cities of Brussels, Ghent, and Brugge. The Turdolens Castle and Brewery in Helchtern, Belgium, provided a taste of beer made with hops from Washington State.
Between the dark one and the triple is the strongest in alcohol, and the dark is in taste. It has also a lot of taste, but it's a little bit sweeter than the triple one.
And the trip's final stop was Eberbach Abbey on the Rhine River near Frankfurt, Germany, home to one of the region's wineries.